Hello beautiful beings, welcome back to my channel. This video was requested by Manuel Ariapola, and he wanted to know how to practice hooponopono. Okay. So hooponopono is very dear to me. We're gonna do a little introduction on hooponopono and then how I use it and how I have used it in the past to overcome a lot of stuff and manifest a few things. Okay, so I have read 3 books on Ho'oponopono. I have read Zero Limits by Joe Dispenza. No, sorry, by Joe Vitale. And then I have read his second book, At Zero. And then I read the third book. This is called The Book of Ho'oponopono, and it's by Luc Bowden and Natalie Bowden and Jean Graciette. All 3 of these books I have linked on my description box below. They're really, really good. Joe Vitale's books are really good on Ho'oponopono. I would say out of the 2, At Zero is the best out of the 2, but number 1 has a lot of basic information that I think is very valuable. So I would take a chance on these if you guys are really interested in learning about Ho'oponopono. Okay, so basically Ho'oponopono is a forgiveness prayer. Before we jump into the story of Dr. Hugh Len, we have to go back to Myrrh. So Myrrh was Dr. Hugh Len's teacher. She was the one that actually converted the Ho'oponopono process into a smaller process. It used to be a bigger thing that was done in their community, to kind of have a group of people or partners or whatever kind of like dissolve the problem within them. So it would be like a long process. Sometimes it would take days where, the person would talk about their problems and the other person would also talk about their problems, and then they will come and get together and kind of heal the process that way. So Myrrh took that whole thing and she condensed it. And then she financed it, worked out the kinks, I'm pretty sure of it. And then she started teaching the process. And Dr. Hugh Len was one of the people that he taught the process to. So Dr. Hugh Len I'm pretty sure, if you go through YouTube, there's a lot of stories about how he healed a full ward of mentally unstable people just using the Ho'oponopono phrases. I love you, please forgive me. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you, thank you. That's the order that I used them for. And how did he do that? He was offered a job. So this was at a penitentiary. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And all of the therapists there, they would just get the job and then they would just run out. They couldn't deal with it. It was too much. So they couldn't keep a person working there for long enough to create any change. It seemed like a lot of these people were beyond salvation. We were talking about rapists, and the worst of the worst. So he was offered the job, and obviously I'm paraphrasing here. Don't judge me if I, don't use the correct verbiage. But he was offered the job, and he said he would only take it if he was able to do the work in his way, which was Ho'oponopono. And I think there was a little bit of a back and forth, and then eventually they were like, yes, sure, just anything. So what he would do is he would go to his office there, and he would ask for all the files of all of the people there. And he would sit and go through each person's file, and anything that jumped at him that created an emotional response in him, a negative emotional response in him, he would clean on. So we use the term cleaning because Ho'oponopono is a cleaning tool. And it's based on, on the basis that everything in your reality is your responsibility, which goes hand in hand with everyone as you pushed out from the law of assumption community. So it's on the basis that everything that you experience in your reality is your responsibility. It means that there is something within you that is creating that, right? Or is that perpetuating that? So as he would read the files of these criminally insane people, any negative reactions he would feel, even if it was nastiness, disgust, sadness, anger, fear, he would clean on them. So he never actually saw any inmates. He never did. He would do his work within himself in his office. And after a while, after a period of time, they noticed that people started to get better. People started to feel better. Actually, let me read from Joe Vitale a little bit about it, because he has a really good chapter on it, where he talks about how hearing that crazy story is what prompted him to go in the search of Dr. Hugh Len, because he was like, that's not true. That is absolutely not true. He said, in 2006, I wrote an article titled "The World's Most Unusual Therapist." It was about a psychologist who helped heal an entire world of mentally ill criminals without ever seeing any of them professionally. He used an unusual healing method from Hawaii. It says that it took him quite a while to get in touch with Dr. Hugh Len. And even after he got in touch with Dr. Hugh Len, it was a bit hard to kind of get him on board to write the book. But eventually he did, for the first book at least. So Dr. Hugh Len continued doing the work from his office. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And after a while, these criminally ill people started to heal, started to get better. And after a few years, they started getting released, up until the point where the place had to close up. It sounds like a miraculous thing, but I would say it's just amazing. I choose to believe in magical and miracles are natural and all that stuff. So that's just amazing to me. So Ho'oponopono is, what is another way to call it? It's a cleaning tool. It is a forgiveness prayer. It is a way for you to revise. So if you don't know how to revise in the Neville world, or if you're like me, that I don't really like to go back to the problem and revise it, because just going back to the problem is sort of kind of like reinfecting yourself with the problem. A good way to revise, which just means to clean over it and create a whole new story, is using Ho'oponopono. So now, how do we use it? So it goes back to the same thing. Everything in your reality is your responsibility, because everything in your reality is just a reflection of the beliefs that you hold about yourself and others. So anything that you have gone through is basically because you have a belief about it within you. So you clean within yourself. It's always about yourself. This work is always within. It's never about the other person, because you learn to understand that there are no others. Everything is just you. So how would I use hooponopono? Let's say we want to use it to heal a relationship with a specific person, or with your mom, or a situation at work, whatever the case may be. You sit down, you relax, you go into a little bit of meditation, and you start to say the words to yourself, because all there is you, right? So the correct way would be just understanding Ho'oponopono, the premise of it, because even if you do it technically to change anybody else, you still have to come from the understanding that you're changing your idea about them, or you're healing the problem within you that created the circumstance. So you sit down and you say to yourself, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. Also, it's very important, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for not knowing better back then. Forgive yourself for accepting the circumstances, for accepting the treatment, for whatever it is that happened. Forgive yourself for the pain that you endured. Forgive yourself for anything and everything. Because at the end of the day, all there is just love, and anything else that's not love is fear. So forgive yourself for the fear, for the anger, for the shame. Forgive yourself for everything. So go inside your mind and forgive yourself. Start with a prayer on yourself first. You can do a visualization. You can use one of my Ho'oponopono videos where I used a magic eraser as a prop in the visualization, because it's extremely effective. So I usually just go through the memory with an imaginary eraser, and I just see myself as I'm saying the words, erasing the problem. I'm erasing the problem as I chant the forgiveness words. And then after I feel satisfied with doing it, within my own memory, then I can bring forth the person, if there is a person involved, understanding that that person is you pushed out as well. And then you can do the prayer towards them, right? Because at the end of the day, when you really get it, you're still doing it for you, right? Because they're you pushed out. But you can do both. You can do both. Do it for yourself first, and then bring forth the person in front of you, and then do the words for them. And then as you do that, also take the magic eraser. Take the magic eraser and erase the problem. You can, another way to visualize that, you can create a connection between you and your person, which, is scientifically speaking, we are connected to everyone. That's what entanglement is for. We are connected to everyone. You can visualize that you're passing on the energy of these words to the other person. And as you continue to clean, you're imagining that you're cleaning everything about that situation. And once that feels satisfactory to you, you can go back to your daily routine. If it happens that the next day you feel really bad, because I do notice that Ho'oponopono is so powerful that a lot of people like myself get, they get kind of like garbage come up. That just means there's more to clean. So you have to keep cleaning until the full problem is done with. Another way you can fix the little pop-up triggers, right? So let's say you do a big hooponopono cleansing, and then the next day you feel kind of crappy, you can tap it out. That's why I do EFT tapping on my channel too, because it's also very powerful, because it gets rid of the emotional triggers in your body. Because when you clean, right, when you're doing an energetic cleaning with Ho'oponopono, a lot of times the garbage that starts to come up is emotions. You start to get all of these emotions come up because they also want to get cleaned, and these emotions get stuck in the body. And that is what creates, the anxiety attacks, the panic attacks. So tapping it out with EFT tapping is great because you get to release it. You release it and you remove it from your energy field, or you change it. You change the energy from negative to positive, because energy never dies. You can't get rid of energy. It just gets transmuted. So that's how I use it. Do I use Ho'oponopono every day? No. I use it for big issues, right? Or big problems, or let's say that you identify a big limiting belief that you have. You clean on that big negative belief. And then whatever little things pop up, you tap it out. Tap it out, right? And that is a great, Ho'oponopono and tapping are like a great combination, because sometimes Ho'oponopono can feel very general, and then with EFT tapping you can go very specific. So Ho'oponopono, you clean on a whole thing, and then let's say that you the next day feel unworthy, you're able to identify that feeling, then you could tap out on that specific feeling, which is very, very good. I'll probably make another video going more into detail about EFT tapping and the benefits of it. But that is how I use it. Ho'oponopono is a magical tool. It's extremely powerful. It's also beautiful within itself. It's just the words in itself are beautiful. A lot of people use it for money. A lot of people, I have used Ho'oponopono to get a job. As part of the process that I've done to get a job, I used it to get this apartment as part of the process. I cleaned on my whole past, right? I cleaned on my whole past of having lived in the projects or public housing my whole life. I cleaned on all of that to be able to open myself up to the idea that I could live in a private apartment and that I could afford a private apartment. That's how I did it. And that's kind of like what I do for any, big process that I have. I do the bulk work with Ho'oponopono and then just move forward with the regular techniques. And I hope this was helpful to you. Once again, I offer coaching if you want to work with me. My work is mostly detailed on, overcoming those traumas, your self-love, opening yourself up to this new world, understanding that you are able to manifest anything that you want in your life, that you're worthy of that. Give yourself a chance. Try it out. You never know. Leave me any comments below. Tell me what other videos you want to see from me, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye.